Greetings, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to answer a question that many of us have been posed, and maybe we used to think, why don't you just leave the narcissist? Drop comments below if you heard that and what you thought about it, because that is one of the biggest things that people will tell us after, during, and then after we're with the narcissist. Why didn't you just get out? Why didn't you just leave? If I had somebody abusing me, I'd just walk away. Well, if she's mean to you, if he's mean to you, why don't you just get out? If the relationship's not going the way you want, just leave. Just what's your problem? Well, that is the sort of thing that someone says who has no idea what these relationships are really like. And in fairness, you and I probably didn't know what it was like until we went through it. Because I was the first, I'll be the first to tell you years ago, if I would have seen somebody who was being abused mentally, physically, whatever it is, I would say, man, why don't you get out of that? Why are you still with that person who's abusive? So it's not always someone's fault that they don't understand that. But what it does illustrate is that they don't know what it's like to be with a narcissist, and they don't know how dangerous and abusive they really are and what they do to you. So to answer the question, why didn't you just leave the narcissist? Like it's that easy, right? Poof, just walk away. Well, it's a lot more complicated than that. I want to talk about some of the reasons, and I'm not going to touch on all of them because there's a ton of things that factor into this. It is a highly complicated issue of why you didn't just walk away. One of the biggest reasons, though, start here, is they have you by design and by their very nature in such an unbelievably confused state of being. You are absolutely riddled. Your mind is a mess. That's one of the biggest things they do to you. God is not the author of confusion. We know who is. That's Satan. And so it's not surprising that one of the biggest things the narcissist does is they are going to send you into confusion. I call this the narcissistic spell. This is what they put you on. And it's tied to another thing I'm going to get to. But they really do put you in a delusion. And they do this by this toxic push and pull pattern where you just don't know 1 second to the next, 1 day to the next, 1 moment to the next what you're getting from this person. Are they going to be kind and loving and empathetic? Or are they going to be abusive and mean and cruel? What's going to happen? Who am I going to get which day, which second of the day? And the fact that they breadcrumb and sprinkle in these very good positive aspects, and they can be so kind and so considerate, they can buy you gifts, they can say really nice things sometimes, and that is part of what just throws your mind for a loop. But the point of it is, if you've seen those cartoons, old Nickelodeon cartoons or whatever, where the character gets hit with a frying pan, it's one of those ding, and they shake, and they're just stunned, absolutely stunned. They don't know which way they're going, up, down, left, right. That is exactly what it's like to be with a narcissist. You cannot make heads or tails of anything. As I've shared before, I got to a point where I would go to, say, a local hardware store just to pick out very basic supplies, and I didn't know what to do. Things I could have picked out in my sleep before that, I literally didn't know what to do. Go to the grocery store. What do I need to buy? What am I here for? I don't even know what. You don't know where you are half the time. This is this is why a lot of people will talk about how they continue to pray for the narcissist. I heard a well-known influencer recently who I respect who talked about how, well, you need to pray for him. And if you see that narcissist, just give him a hug. There's a hope, there's a future for the narcissist. What they're missing is how truly dangerous these people are. And no, there's not a bunch of hope for them. Most of them are reprobate and they're gone. They're just flat gone. They're the weeds among the wheat and they are Satan's little henchmen. I'm not going to say that all of them are completely shut off and closed and finished. We don't know that, but I can tell you most of them are. And they're extremely dangerous. And one of the ways they're dangerous is they put you in this very mentally incapacitated state, a stupor. That's the best way to say it. It is a spiritual stupor that they put you in. It's a delusion. They live in a delusion, and they will have you living in delusion. So I haven't said this one for a while, but it's worth bringing up. I'm going to start saying it more often. To those of you who think you're going to change the narcissist, you will not change the narcissist, but they will change you. Make book on that. We've experienced it. So that's part of why you didn't just walk away, because you're so confused. You can't tell what's happening. They want you in that state, that stupor, that delusional state where you cannot tell anything. And boy, that keeps you there. And that's straight from the devil himself. Another reason very highly connected to that, the trauma bond. The trauma bond. Boy, is that sucker ever real. You've been through it, you understand. It is deadly, it is paralyzing. It is what causes people to literally not be here on this earth anymore by their own doing because it's so toxic. You don't know how you're going to live without this person, how you can function, how you can breathe. You don't think you have a future. This person is everything. You ruminate about them night and day constantly. You can't go for a walk. You can't go for a drive. You can't go eat dinner somewhere. You can't spend time with your kids. You can't work on a project. You can't fish or hike or hunt or do anything that you normally do because that person all the time on your mind. Boom, 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 boom. You're not there when you're with other people because the narcissist is occupying all your time. And you're trauma bonded because the abuse, they just bludgeon you and bludgeon you and bludgeon you. And that toxic pattern that has you so confused is the same thing that has you so trauma bonded. It's got you addicted. You're addicted to that person, and only they can soothe you. Your abuser is the same person who soothes you, and that's what you think. So you can see how the confusion is tied together with the trauma bond. They're both basically a spell that the narcissist casts on you by their behavior and their wickedness and the demons that control them. So good luck. The trauma bond is the worst thing I've ever experienced. It is not close. There's no close second. There's nothing I can think of. And I've been through some things like many of you have. Nothing like that. That thing is absolutely deadly. So you stayed for those reasons. Let's think of some other here. The narcissist had us by the end of that relationship, or midway probably, but definitely by the end. They had us so insecure and so doubting ourselves that you don't think you can do better. You don't see how you can break away. You don't think you have the strength to end this. You don't see how you're going to improve your life. You don't want to go back to being single. You don't want to be alone. And they have you believing that you're not valuable anymore. A big thing the narcissist wants to do is steal your value and steal your confidence in yourself from you. They make you deeply insecure. I mean, look, in the romantic relationship, it is insane. But let's take friendship for a minute because this proves the point. I have a friend. This person deals with a narcissist. We'll call it kind of a work setting. Known this person for years, and this is a narcissistic friendship, as much as you can call it that. It's not. It's an entanglement like anything else is. But even just knowing the person on a pretty casual basis, they're not. It's not romantic, so it's not intimate. They're not living together. They're not arranging their world around one another, right? This is a friendship. Well, this person that I talk to regularly, heart of gold, spiritually rooted, firm believer in the Lord, not this weak pushover, unfaithful, spiritually weak person, but just in this friendship, she is so confused and feels oftentimes so insecure about herself and walks on eggshells and is worried about her narcissistic friend while she's trying to hang out with family and her daughter and other things. The narcissist is living in her mind and she knows it and she's taking the appropriate steps. But the point is, even just on a very basic kind of friendship work environment level, they have you so deeply insecure and so much doubting yourself that you don't know how to function and you don't think you can end the relationship because they have you believing it's your fault. Guys, one of the biggest things that keeps us in there is the narcissist convinces you that the failures of the relationship are your fault. It's not them, it is you. And you actually come to embrace it and to believe it. if I end this relationship, really, it's my fault. It's on me. I didn't do everything. I made mistakes, and I should have done this, that, and the other thing. And they have a laundry list of things that you did, right? Mistakes that you supposedly made. They don't ever acknowledge their own, ever, 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 ever. Unless they're desperately begging to keep you, and then they don't mean it. They're just going to say things. But they have convinced you that you should doubt yourself, that you should be insecure, you should not have confidence in yourself, you can't go do better, all of which are straight lies from the pits of hell, straight from the devil himself. All of us can do way better, infinitely better than the narcissist. Nothing is better than the narcissist by a landslide, much less a decent person, kind, loving. Guys, they have you convinced that's part of why you stayed. You doubted yourself so much and you were so insecure by the way they treated you and how condescending they were that you thought you had to stay in the relationship. Already, can you see? Just get out. Why don't you just leave? Just walk away. Not hardly. Another thing, boy, this was huge. You couldn't walk away because you just kept thinking the person can change. Talked about this earlier. And more importantly, I hit it from this angle. We were scared to death that if we ended the relationship and we actually walked away, that they were going to do what? Come on. Walk away, get into another relationship, and change for that person. Sorry, that was really loud. Didn't mean it to be that loud. We thought that they were going to walk away and change for somebody else. Just takes the right person. I wasn't the right person for the narcissist. If they get in with just the right person, then they'll change. They'll see their value. They'll know that they can't let that one get away. They can't screw that relationship up. We're worried that we're pulling that slot machine and emptying everything into it. And if we get up, someone else is going to sit down, pull that slot machine, and hit the jackpot, which means great behavior, a good, wonderful person that we thought the narcissist could be. So, yeah, we stayed there because you just believe that this person can change. It's really hard, guys, to understand that they don't change. They don't change. I'm telling you, I talk to survivors a lot of narcissistic abuse, and they still struggle with the idea that the narcissist can change. But Brian, you just don't know when someone might change. You don't know. Yeah, I know. The narcissist isn't going to change. They're evil, they're crooked. They followed the path of darkness long ago, and they're still on it. And they get deeper and deeper into the blackness as the days go by. The narcissist won't change, the narcissist will change you. That's why we're told to get away from them. 2 Timothy 3:5. Go read it over and over. Get away. You're not going to change them. But we thought that we could. We were so convinced and we wanted it, didn't we? We wanted it so badly. And one of the reasons why we wanted it so badly is because what did they do? Presented to us the person we wanted to see. And then we spend all our time trying to get back. I saw it at the beginning. I know what they can be. So I gotta believe they can change. I gotta believe they can get back to where they were. Only problem is that person was never real. That was a vapor, a mist, inauthentic, never existed, hollow, shallow, a hologram. They showed us that for that very purpose, so that for the rest of time we could think, is that him, them, or who can we get back? Confusion, going back to point one. Another reason you don't just walk away. A lot of people get their finances tied up with the narcissist. A lot of people can't just walk away because they're married to the narcissist or they share a home and they have children. Guys, those are extreme impediments to trying to end a relationship. I know from experience, going through divorce and everything that's involved in it is ridiculous. And you unpeel the onions for a long time after that because you get notices in the mail. Oh, I guess we still have that account together. Oh, I guess we still have that. Oh, I'm still getting her mail. She's still getting my mail. This goes on. It is really hard once you have entangled yourself in a marriage for years and years and years to then separate everything is a lot of work. And people have to move out and they have to find new homes and every bill has to get changed over. And your way of life has to change and cross the board. And you have to figure out ways to parent together if you have children. And then you don't want to leave the narcissist or whoever you're with because of the children either, because it's not fair to them. It's not good for the kids. So a lot of people stay in highly, highly, highly abusive relationships for those reasons. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you those aren't valid reasons at times to stay in a relationship. I don't think anybody should ever stay in a narcissistic relationship their whole lives or even for any length of time if you can get out. I think that everyone can get out if they really want to and they really apply themselves to it. So next time that somebody tells you this, why didn't you just get out? Why don't you just leave? I would never put up with that. I couldn't have done. Well, another part of this is, guys, we didn't know what we didn't know. But when you're going through all of that, it's not like the entire time you're going, oh, this is a narcissist and they're Satan's henchman and they're going to do this, 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 and this is a manipulation tool, and this is to get me entangled, and this is to breadcrumb me, and now they're going to do this to devalue me. And they're cheating and all the things they do behind your back that you now probably understand at least some of. You don't know those things when you're in the relationship with them. If you did, you would have left. But you don't know what you don't know. Now we do. So would we ever re-enter a relationship with a person like this once you know it? Shame on you if you do. If you know what we know about this, the very stuff I'm sharing right now, if you know about it and then you hop into another relationship and start to see the same things in that person and you don't cut it, that's your fault. It's my fault if I were to do it, if you were to do it. But before that, it's not because you can't know. So, getting back to the point, the next time someone says, "I don't understand," why didn't you just leave the nurse? Just get out. Just I don't get it. She's abusive. He's abusive. Understand that that person might mean well, but they clearly have no idea what it's like to be with an abusive, toxic person, much less a way down the road narcissist. Chances are that person got very lucky and they managed to find a kind, loving person for the most part, at least a pretty decent person. And so the gaslighting, manipulation, stonewalling, triangulation, cheating that you go through, they don't know what that's like. It's really easy to sit back and say, "Yeah, man, if I was getting abused, I'd just get out." And then when you're actually involved in such a trap, a snare, and entangled, night and day difference. So understand, there's a lot of reasons why we did not get out and get out sooner. And there's probably people watching this that are still entangled with a narcissist, unfortunately. So my advice, if you're still in it, yeah, you do need to get out because now you know. It's not easy. I'm never going to claim that it is. But if you know what you know, you need to make steps. Take the proper steps, have a plan, do what you need to do to get away from this person because they're only going to change you and you're not going to change them. They'll take you to the pits of hell with them if you let them. They will. So understand, cut yourself a break when someone says you should have just left because there's a lot of factors involved, and I mentioned those. But again, once you understand how this works and who they are and all of it, then the onus and the burden is on us to get out and to never, and I repeat, never allow this kind of devil to enter your life ever again. So, guys, I hope this was interesting for you. Share this video with somebody if you're trying to explain to them, this is why I didn't leave. It's not as simple, it's not as easy as you think. Share this with that person. Let them hear it from another voice, someone who's been through this. Maybe they don't understand it from you, but maybe they will if somebody else says it. So share this video, save yourself some time, and also maybe it's more effective. So anyway, thanks guys for everything, your comments. I do this for you. It's cathartic for me, but I'm doing it to help anybody who will listen and save them from the treachery of the hell that is the narcissist and where they can take you. So, all right, anyway, guys, love all of you. Thanks for everything. I'll be back at another one here soon. Till then, God bless.